Hey everyone, this is Mr. Shao coming to you for week 33. And in our agenda, we're going to be looking at a couple of assignments this week. We're going to be talking about the guided reading for genocide and exploring what that is. Okay, so here we have our assignment number one, and that's actually what we're going to be looking at for this video. We also have a Nearpod for Path to War Part 4, also on ideas of Holocaust and genocide. And then this week, we are also doing our Tuesday and Thursday in-class, in-person kind of tutorials. And that's optional if you are going to make it to school. That's 1 to 3, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we are also going to have an asynchronous uh, I guess, activity for those Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so it's only one activity and it's just going to be an ed puzzle. We also have extra credit this week, just to let you know. Again, very similar to what we did last week. So let's go ahead and look at our week 33 assignment number one, and that's genocide and the Holocaust. All right, guys. So again, very similar to what we did last couple of weeks. You're going to be looking and reviewing this handout. And it's set up a little bit differently because in this one, the articles in the PDF are separated into almost 6 different sections, but you're not going to be looking at each section as separate questions. You're going to be actually looking at the sections as a whole. And the only 2 sections that are going to be singled out are going to be the one about the United Nations defining genocide. And so that is the first article on the first page. So let's bring that up. And so here in the first page, you're going to be looking at how the United Nations defines genocide. Okay, and so these questions 1, 2, and 3 are already on here, and this is actually where you want to write these questions about how do they define it. What are some good and bad points to that? How would you define it? And this is very important. Don't go Google this. Don't just kind of this is what Wikipedia tells me. Don't use Wikipedia. Absolutely not. You want to put it in your own words what you think the definition of a genocide is. And again, look at how the United Nations first defines it before you write your own explanation of genocide. Then you're going to select some examples, and the PDF has almost 6 different examples happen in history, not just the Holocaust of Germany and Poland. And then the last one is give an idea for a policy or a way that we could start preventing this idea of genocide or the eradication of said, and go ahead and define that. All right, so this is actually the first part of it. The next part, you're going to skip. You're going to go to page 4. So as you look at this, we're going to go down, go down, go down, and we're going to go here. And this is actually very similar to what you're used to. Again, taking some notes on the Holocaust specifically. You're going to complete your questions 1 through 12 on the Holocaust on page 4. Okay, and so this is just on page 4, so you're going to skip down a little bit. The last section is going to be a timeline. And what this is that you're going to look at all the examples of genocide that is actually in the PDF, and you're just going to fill in some of this information to compare. Okay, so first, we're going to be looking at these are all actually links to where these occurred. Okay, it doesn't exactly tell you who, but it does tell you where it occurred. Okay, and then you're going to look at when. And so looking at the PDF, okay, let's just go to one here in the war in Darfur. Okay, and so this actually began in 2003. So this is fairly recent. Okay, actually still about 17 or 18 years ago. But it is actually something that you want to put into your timeline, and you're going to go 2003. Okay, so we put that in there, and then you're talking about who was the one that was being genocide was brought upon. Okay, and in the far, as we look at it, we're going to look down 6 million people, but it's actually the population of a place called Darfur. Okay, and this is actually in Eastern Africa. Eastern Africa, in a place called Darfur. And we can't see it here, but this is probably where it is. Okay, and then it was literally a battle between a civil war between this country. All right, so you would actually fill in all the information. You don't actually have to read every article in detail, but you do want to find who and who was actually being attacked and who was being the ones attacking, and then also how the number killed and what was the result. And this is something you actually have to explain a little bit more detail. But we would probably put 6 million here because that's actually what's listed in the article. And then you want to do that for every single one of these. Okay. So sorry, the FAR is actually down here. So you will put back here in FAR 2003, about 6 million people experienced this genocide. And yeah, that's quite a few individual. Okay. All right. And you want to just fill out your timeline in that fashion. Okay. It won't take you too long. You can just skip to the information, but take a look and again, try to think about what this means and how the idea of genocide is so immersed in history and world history as something that we see. Um, is it quite often or something that we see rarely or something that we rarely hear about? So think about that as we kind of go through our lessons. All right, thank you guys for your time. Make sure you complete these questions and update them accordingly. All right, thank you for your time. Bye bye.